Have you ever caught yourself observing something unusual? Certain individuals possess an incredibly uncommon type of mental capacity. They are profoundly observant, deeply in tune with emotions, and they frequently notice subtle cues that the vast majority entirely overlooks. Yet, here's the fascinating aspect. This specific capability does not originate from reading textbooks, attending university, or participating in formal educational programs. It actually stems from experiencing trauma. Admittedly, that probably sounds a bit bizarre, right? The idea that enduring psychological distress could literally make an individual smarter? However, it is an absolute reality. Many contemporary mental health professionals are currently discussing a psychological framework known as traumatic intelligence. What makes this characteristic so remarkably distinct is this. The precise experiences that previously caused you immense pain could be the exact same forces that completely rewired how you perceive and interpret your surroundings. You have undoubtedly encountered individuals who fit this description, or perhaps you actually possess these traits yourself, without even being consciously aware of it. Throughout today's video, we are going to dive into 10 distinct indicators that you might be carrying one of the rarest and most formidable variations of intellect, which also happens to be one of the most misunderstood. This is particularly true regarding the final indicator, the trait you have likely spent your life viewing as a personal vulnerability, despite it genuinely functioning as the most crucial component of this entire system. Let us get started. Sign 1. The capacity to instantly evaluate an environment. Are you familiar with that specific sensation? You step into a social gathering, or perhaps just a standard family dinner. The individuals are simply sitting around, perhaps sharing a laugh, perhaps enjoying their meal, yet you immediately detect a heavy, unspoken friction lingering in the atmosphere. You can instinctively determine that a disagreement took place earlier, or that someone is harboring unspoken grievances they refuse to vocalize. This is not some sort of mystical trick or spiritual intuition. It is the direct consequence of your brain undergoing rigorous training in pattern recognition. In your past, possessing the capability to detect the shifting temperaments of others prematurely, especially individuals who are highly unpredictable, was the single method you possessed to protect yourself. Now your mind perpetually and involuntarily scans for behavioral indicators. A momentary diversion of eye contact, slightly tense shoulders, or an inhalation that is shorter than normal. You decode these physical hints with such incredible speed and precision that the process can honestly feel completely draining simply because you cannot deactivate this hyper-observant mode even when your only desire is to relax. Sign 2. Anticipatory compassion. The vast majority of society defines empathy as, I recognize that you are feeling sad, and therefore I feel sad with you. However, that represents merely the foundational tier. When your cognitive abilities have been forged by trauma, your empathy transforms into something significantly more acute: anticipation. This is the talent of recognizing what another person requires before they even realize it themselves. Picture this. You are sitting in a coffee shop with a friend who is venting about difficulties at work. You observe that they keep picking at their sleeve, or their gaze repeatedly wanders toward the open door. Even though they verbally insist, "I'm fine, it's nothing," you discreetly stand up, shut the door, and upon returning, you hand them a tissue right as a teardrop is about to fall. You do not wait for them to ask. You foresee their needs by analyzing microscopic shifts in body language that you have been conditioned to identify. This capability closely mirrors what happened with Oprah Winfrey. She has shared that her turbulent childhood and traumatic encounters with abuse compelled her to master reading the individuals around her to protect herself. That emotional radar, forged through hardship, helped turn her into one of the greatest interviewers in the world. Because she can detect concealed emotions in her guests, from something as minuscule as a blink or a quiet breath. You carry this exact same brand of intellect, too. You know when a friend requires silence rather than advice. You recognize when your partner is exhausted, even if they claim to be fine. You do not merely empathize with your heart. You empathize using a comprehensive emotional data processing system operating silently in your mind. You manifest a secure space for others because deep down, you comprehend the heavy toll of living in an environment that does not feel safe. Sign 3. An unusual tranquility when chaos erupts. This represents an interesting contradiction. Many assume that individuals who have endured trauma are more prone to panicking or overreacting. But in reality, the exact opposite is frequently true. Think back to an instance when you were in a sudden emergency, perhaps a minor accident on the road, an intense argument erupting in a meeting, or a cascade of bad news hitting you all at once right before a deadline. While everyone around you begins losing control, yelling, or freezing in dread, you experience a remarkably peculiar sensation of calm taking over. In that moment, your mind operates like a high-performance computer, instantly shifting into fight mode. You begin organizing priorities with cold precision. What needs to be done first? Who must be called right now? What is the most effective solution? Psychologists refer to this as stress inoculation, because your nervous system has already been molded by substantially bigger battles in the past. Everyday problems in modern life are not enough to shake you. You are accustomed to living in a constant state of high alert. So when a genuine crisis hits, it does not overwhelm you. You simply execute the response patterns you have mentally rehearsed thousands of times. You become the anchor for everyone around you, the one person who can prevent the ship from sinking when the storm arrives. This is a practical kind of real-world intelligence, a quiet form of leadership that absolutely no business school can truly teach. Sign 4. The talent for deconstructing human behavior. You never just accept things at their superficial presentation. When someone treats you poorly or acts in a strange manner, your initial reaction is not always anger or judgment. It is analytical curiosity. Why did they act like that? Are they feeling threatened? Or are they unconsciously repeating wounds from their own past? You are like a real psychologist, just without the degree. You dedicate a lot of time to replaying conversations in your head, not to criticize, but to comprehend the deeper layers hidden beneath social masks. You notice how someone selects their words, how they avoid eye contact when a certain topic is introduced. This level of understanding frequently makes you more compassionate than most, because you know that behind every toxic behavior is usually an unhealed wound. But this depth of thinking is also a heavy burden. You cannot live on the surface. You perceive the truth behind polished lies, the profound loneliness behind loud laughter at parties. To you, every person is like a complex maze full of dead ends and hidden treasures, and you cannot stop trying to map it out. You do not just see the person in front of you. You witness the entire emotional history behind them. Sign 5. An instinctual sensation you cannot explain. Sometimes everything appears perfectly normal. Someone converses with you in a friendly tone. They smile at the right moments, react appropriately, and even say all the right things. From the outside, nothing seems amiss, but inside you, something lights up. A slight discomfort, a subtle mismatch, as if something does not quite line up, even though you cannot name what it is. You have no proof, you do not want to jump to conclusions, and you might even tell yourself you are overthinking, but the feeling stays. And the strange thing is, many times later, you realize your instincts were right. The truth slowly reveals itself. That person was not as genuine as they seemed, or they were hiding something. This is not vague intuition. It is a warning system constructed from experience. When you have lived in environments where safety was not always real, your brain learns not to fully trust appearances. It learns to listen to very subtle signals inside your body. Consequently, you do not just see the world. You can feel when something about it is not real. Sign 6. Extreme independence. You are the kind of person who always maintains a plan B, plan C, and even plan D for everything. If you suddenly lose your job, you do not sit around waiting for help. You start researching new ways to make money or updating your resume that very night. If something breaks at home, your first instinct is to look up a tutorial and fix it yourself instead of calling someone. This independence originates from a hard-earned belief: no one is really coming to save me except myself. When your early environment was not stable enough to rely on, your brain learned to internalize every solution. You became incredibly resourceful. You can survive anywhere, in any situation, but the downside is that it is very hard for you to accept help. Depending on someone feels risky, like a kind of weakness that could lead to getting hurt. You would rather carry the whole world on your shoulders than owe someone a thank you. You are learning that independence is a strength, but allowing support is wisdom. Sign 7. Experiencing the world in high resolution. This relates to something called high sensitivity. Psychologist Elaine Aron studied this and determined that some individuals have nervous systems that process information much deeply than average. For you, a beautiful song is not just sound. It is something that moves your entire soul. A glowing sunset can leave you completely still, overwhelmed by emotion. But on the flip side, loud noise, strong smells, or news about injustice can hit you just as deeply, almost as if you are experiencing the pain yourself. Your nervous system, already opened up by past experiences, lacks much of a filter to block out outside stimulation. You feel other people's joy as your own. And the pain of the world can weigh on your heart every day. This emotional depth is what generates great compassion and limitless creativity. You notice beauty in the smallest things others overlook. Sunlight slipping through leaves, a warm smile from a stranger, or a quiet moment early in the morning. You do not live on the surface. You live fully in every cell, in every breath. And even though this intensity can be exhausting, it also makes your life more vivid and meaningful than most. Sign 8. A high but deep trust threshold. You are not the type to have thousands of friends on social media and call everyone a best friend. You keep your distance, observe, and evaluate how someone treats people who are weaker than them. How they keep their promises, even the small ones. You look for consistency in their actions over time before allowing them into your safe circle. Psychologists call this adaptive skepticism. It is not negativity, it is a smart filtering system that protects your inner world from harm. But once someone passes your strict standards, you give them absolute loyalty. You will be the first to show up when they are in trouble, the one who keeps their secrets, no matter what. You value quality over quantity. Your intelligence helps you build a small but incredibly strong support system made up of people who are genuinely kind and real. Sign 9. A complicated relationship with stillness. Have you ever sat on the couch to watch a movie, but your mind keeps racing? Thinking about unfinished tasks, plans for next year, or even worrying about things that have not happened yet. For you, doing nothing can sometimes feel more uncomfortable than relaxing. This is a leftover effect of hypervigilance becoming your brain's default setting. In the past, silence often meant something bad was about to happen. So your brain learned a harsh rule. Only when I am busy, only when I am in control, am I truly safe. You may find yourself becoming a workaholic. or constantly filling your time with activities just to avoid those quiet moments. Learning how to truly relax, to be present without judging yourself, is one of the biggest and hardest lessons in your healing journey. You are slowly teaching your brain it is safe now. Rest is not a mistake. Rest is how you recharge for the long road ahead. Sign 10. Intense sensitivity to injustice. This is the one that often makes you question yourself the most. The thing you may see as a flaw that makes you seem too much or different. Do you ever feel a deep, almost shaking anger when you see injustice online or in real life, even when it does not directly affect you? You cannot stand seeing someone being bullied, treated unfairly, or watching moral values get openly ignored. Most people might tell you, just let it go. It's not your problem. Or, why do you take it so seriously? But for you, ignoring what is wrong feels almost biologically impossible. This is actually a form of advanced moral intelligence shaped by trauma. If you have ever been a victim of injustice, or watched someone you love suffer without being able to help, your value system becomes incredibly sharp. You develop an almost instinctive sense of what is right and wrong. You crave authenticity and fairness, sometimes to an extreme level. People, like Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps, used this kind of intelligence to create profound ideas about the meaning of life. He did not let pain turn him numb or cruel. Instead, he turned it into a deeper search for meaning. Your sensitivity to justice makes you a quiet protector, someone who can create change in the small spaces around you. It is not you being difficult. It is a moral compass that life is shaped to be incredibly precise. Because you understand the true cost of injustice, you do not allow it to exist unnoticed. This is the highest expression of traumatic intelligence. The ability to turn personal pain into a sense of purpose and kindness for others. What others may call your weakness is actually the core strength that keeps the world from becoming cold and indifferent. Trauma-shaped intelligence is not something anyone would choose from the start. No one wants to trade a carefree childhood for this kind of awareness. This is not about glorifying trauma. Life does not give us a choice about what we go through, but it does give us a choice about who we become afterward. Your constant hyper-awareness was never a willing choice you made at the innocent dawn of your life. It is simply the brilliant but heavy armor you naturally built to survive an incredibly unpredictable world. Please know that you are entirely allowed to stop viewing your immense sensitivity as a shameful flaw. You hold a deeply profound intelligence that silently keeps the cold world from losing its fragile humanity. How might your daily life transform if you finally embraced this intense awareness as a quiet superpower? If this resonated with you, leave a few words below so others know they are truly seen. May you always find moments of soft stillness amid the heavy burden of noticing absolutely everything.